What up?
What's up? What's up? What's up, buddy?
How you doing?
Good. How are you?
I'm good. I'm good. What have you been doing with all your free time?
The usual. Watch game tape, work out, try to stay fit, go outside, try to cook new things.
Fair enough.
Nothing too interesting. Some video games, some Fortnite here and there. But
Okay, okay,
yeah,
that's fair.
what
All
have
right,
you been
cool.
doing?
Honestly, just been doing my best to stay busy. A lot of video games. That's about it.
Yeah,
Can't do anything
uh,
else, right?
yeah, not really. No, for sure.
No. All right, cool. Let's get started. So first off, thanks everyone for joining. This is the first Pakmen Instagram Live. To start it off, I don't think there's anyone better that we'd want to get other than Shawan Vernon-Evans. So for those of you who don't know, Shawan's has played for the club since its 13U year. He completed his 18U season in 2016, and since then has been a member of the national team program, who most recently qualified for the 2021 Tokyo Olympics. Shawan, do you want to give yourself a little bit of an intro?
Hi, you guys know me. I'm Sean Vernon-Evans. Come from Scarborough, Ontario. I play on the senior men's national team and also play professional volleyball in Italy, in Perugia. And yeah, I came from Mississauga Pakmen.
All right, cool. So basically, what we're going to do is we asked a poll box earlier today just about questions for questions for you, and then we also have some questions for you as well. So we'll just start
Perfect.
off with the questions that we have, and then we'll move to the questions that other people have asked.
Okay.
So the first question is, how long did you play with the club?
Uh, so like you said, since 13, 18 years, so
Right.
from
Okay.
then on.
What would be your most favorite memory from playing with the club?
Most favorite memory was winning 17U, I mean 18U provincials when we were 17U. That was a very special moment for us. Well, for me at least.
Right. Okay. And who did you guys play in the finals that year?
We played our the Pac-Man 18U team in the finals.
Okay. Gotcha. Gotcha.
Oof.
Well,
Or Jesse made a nice comment there. 17U Worlds. Me, Parker, and Jesse was also pretty good in Mexico.
gotcha.
That's
And
that might be first.
how'd you guys place there?
How did pardon?
How'd you guys place there?
We came fourth. Yeah, we just missed podium there, but it was a great experience. It was the first time we ever played like international like competition, so it was definitely a eye-opening experience, and it was nice because it was also beach, and I do love beach, so it was great to go out to a different country and compete representing Canada and Pac-Man. So
Yeah,
it
for
was
sure.
amazing.
For sure. So I guess now that we're on the topic of beach, I assume you did the Pakman Beach program for quite some time then, I guess.
Yeah. I 14 year I started beach, and I remember Kelly bringing us out. For those who don't know Kelly, it's Mr. Smith. He brought Parver and I out, and I remember we started to have to practice with like the 18 guys when we were 14 year, and it was definitely a tough practice for us because they were just so physical and dominant and skilled. So it was definitely hard for us, but it was great because they also embraced us and um, helped us along like our path as young players, and made sure like they taught us things that we didn't know, or just taught us the ropes. So it was definitely a good experience to be able to play up with those guys.
For sure, for sure. What would you say was your biggest takeaway from beach, like while you played?
Biggest takeaway from beach. Beach is I think your success is a lot dependent on your partner, you and your partner's relationship. I was luckily, lucky enough to play with my best friend Parvier. So it was, a special experience because you kind of grew together. Like we both started 14U together. Parvier played like alone like this season before, played 13U, but we played pretty much our whole, from 14U to 18U together. So it was definitely nice to grow with your best friend, and you guys both develop not only as partners but individually, and just to see like his growth skill wise and physically, and just how like much closer our relationship got by doing that. It
Yeah,
was That was very special, and I felt like uh, the club cared about everyone a lot and cared about us a lot and, helped us along the way. So it was nice.
Right. Okay. So I guess that moves on to the next topic. How did you find your experience with coaching while playing at the club?
Oh, I loved all my coaches for sure. All my coaches did, individually did what they were asked to do. I got developed from 14U to 16U and then changed from 17U to 18U with a different coach. I had Ed Terlinsky my first 3 years, and then I had Stenko my last 2 years. And then for beach, I had Jesse and Phil from
Right.
all my years. And Jesse is also a very big part of who I am today. He's helped me a lot along the way, and him and I are a lot closer now than back then for sure. And now we look at each other as equals, but he'll always be like my coach to me, and has always looked out for me and helped me become the best player I can be.
For sure. For sure. So I guess there definitely was a good bond there, right?
Yeah, for sure, for sure.
That's sick. So just moving on to some personal questions. What would you say is like your go-to pregame snack?
I don't even necessarily think I have a go-to pregame snack. Like I'm very not picky, but I definitely like vary what I eat before games. But I'd say like a mandatory thing for me is listening to music. Always like I wouldn't have like a snack specifically. I might eat pasta one day or steak and eggs the next day or something. I don't know. Like I vary, but for me I like to like I need to listen to music before my
Right.
game. Like it's essential. So I would say that would be my go-to meal, in
Right. Yeah.
quotations.
Do you have any go-to songs that you would pick? Like if you had to
Not
pick
not
one
even
song?
yeah, no, not even like a go-to song or anything. Like I just my playlist can vary. I can have, hip hop or rap or sometimes even listen to R&B or, alternative. It depends, what I'm feeling that day. I don't have a specific like this plays every time. No.
Right. Okay. I got you. Then do you have any rituals or superstitions that you have to do before games or?
I don't feel like I have superstitions per se, but I feel like I might because I do something similar every time. If that makes sense. Like I will always like put my socks on with my left foot first, and I'll always put like my ankle brace left foot first, knee like sleeve left foot first. Like so I
Right.
might say that might be like a superstition, but I don't have
Right.
like I need to wear these shoes or these leggings all the time. It's just I kind of do the left thing, so maybe that's my superstition that I just don't know. Subconscious superstition.
Right. Okay. And then obviously, I think because like you and I have talked, and you've always made it clear that one of your goals is to represent Canada and going to the Olympics. But what would be some other goals that you would have for volleyball in the future?
I just want to help grow the sport and help the younger youth kind of understand, especially boys specifically. I would say more so, just because I want them to also know that you could do other things and play basketball or hockey or whatever the case may be. You can play volleyball as well, and I also just want to help build the sport so volleyball players can eventually, be on the same platform as the NBA or the MLB or NFL or whatever. So I
Right.
just kind of want to help grow the sport so it's more known around the world, and also younger boys know that there's another option to follow volleyball and have a great career as well, not just have to look to basketball for money or hockey for money, that you can do it. You can play volleyball and do the same thing.
For sure, for sure. So when we posted the question box on our story, one common question was, "How did you start playing volleyball?" So maybe if you want to get into that a little bit.
I started volleyball because I took a year off basketball. Um, I took a year off basketball, and I kept on going like to my sisters. My sisters started to play volleyball. This like my last year of basketball. So my second year, I just like their second year when I was just like off. I once all their practices, I just kept on watching and trying to mimic like the moves they were doing on the court and stuff. And their coach would tell me like to come in and try to hit hit on open net or like learn how to pass and do like some drills or try to play like 6-on-6 here and there. But I kind of
Right.
just got roped into it because I just kept on wanting to like get better, better, better at the game. So when when the summer came around, I told my sisters like I wanted to play because I went to watch my oldest sister at provincials and I saw Pakmen. So I saw like Pakmen's, and I think that was Kelly's team with Nathan Murdoch
Okay.
and Brandon Coppers. So I saw that team play. I was like, oh my goodness, this team's amazing. And I remember telling my sisters, I was like, and my mom, I was like, I want to play for Pac-Man. So every day that summer, like from April till September, I was in the driveway just passing, like, working on my skills, trying to get better, hitting against the wall, whatever it took, peppering with my sisters. And then, yeah, that summer, I mean, that September, I made the team. So after
Right.
that,
So
the
you
rest
would
was history.
you would say your decision to go play on Pakmen then was solely based on watching that one team play, yeah?
Yeah, I didn't know nothing like about Pac-Man really. I just saw like how they played and how collective they were, and I saw like a lot of Pac-Man teams obviously around watching them play, but also playing. And it kind of just I was like, oh, this is a very diverse club, so it'd be a cool place
Right.
to start going. So I saw them and saw the way they played, and just wanted to go be a part of it.
That's sick. And then looking back now on that team, is there any player in specific that really stood out to you, would you say, or no?
When I was Nathan stood out for sure.
Nathan, for sure.
Nathan was incredible. Watching him play, the way he moved, how fast he was, how dynamic, how like smart he was, way he could read the block. It was something to see. He was very fast twitch. He was very
Yeah,
exciting to watch for sure. My favorite player to watch.
yeah, that's pretty cool. And then do you know what age group that team would have been when you had first watched them, or no?
Um, I would say 60 to you.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah.
And you were, I guess, then just going into your 13th year then at that time.
Yeah, I'd even start. Yeah, I wasn't starting yet. So when I
Yeah,
started, like I was 14 when I first played club. I was 14 and they were
right.
17.
Okay, gotcha. So now we'll just move on to the questions here from the poll box. Some of these are actually pretty interesting. I think the one that I found most interesting was how was your transition from left side to right side? Because obviously you played left side during your 18th year, right? And then
Yeah.
after that, transition to right side when you started doing stuff for the national team. So how was that transition?
Oh, like it's still ongoing. I will say it's not as refined yet, and some things are still pretty difficult for me to do. Uh, but it was a smooth transition because of the place I was at. I was at the full time training center, so I got a lot of reps playing right side. But it's definitely different because I wasn't the greatest hitter on right side, so it was tough on that to like learn how to get power and then refine my shots on right side. But it's a different demand. Like a lot of right sides now are like you're the scorer, you're forced to score and you're looked at to score.
For sure.
Um, so that's also something, but it's different duty than left side. Left sides are I don't have to pass anymore. Like realistically, every now and again maybe I might like hop in the rotation in reception, but I won't. It's not a mandatory thing to pass, but you have to block a lot. You have to
For
be a
sure.
really good blocker, and you have to put away balls, especially high balls, which is something I'm working on still.
Right.
But playing left side has helped uh, my transition, I would say, because it's allowed me skills to like play defense or even to if I need to serve or out of systems that I have some like ball control skills from the left side. So it's beneficial, I would say. Like it was an easier, smoother transition for me than other people if you're started from middle to go to right side.
Right. Okay. Yeah, because you already had the basic foundation.
Yeah,
And then, so I guess being kind of along that line, right? Because obviously the national team wanted you to transition from the left to the right. How would
yeah.
you say your experience was while playing?
It was nice. I liked my first year when I played with the national team was was definitely a development year, but also the guys were very patient with me. So that was special because it was they told me like you're gonna make mistakes and that's fine, just try your hardest. You understand like you're just learning the position and you're also this is your first time at this level of competition. So it was very reassuring. So I just kinda went out there like, if you mess up, you mess up and just played normal, but it was it's nice to have that support from the other guys to reassure you and say it's okay, like keep going, don't worry about it, don't hang your head. So yeah, I would say it was fun to switch, and now it's really fun to play games, and you get set a lot of balls, which is fun too, but um
Hmm.
just
Sure.
I like the responsibility of trying, like, of being a focal part of the team and helping them win games. I think that's exciting as well to you know give it your all for your team.
Yeah, for sure. And then your first year, right? When you guys went to Vietnam, you guys came third that year, yeah?
Yeah, yeah.
So what was the preparation like for that?
Well, it was weird because I started off junior national team. Like I was on the 21 man roster, and then it gets down to 16. And no, sorry, not 16, 18. But I was doing junior national, and I was qualifying for world championships, in Prague. And I remember we qualified, and then I got like an email after the game saying, "Oh, you need to come back to train with the senior team." And I didn't think like I was gonna make it or anything. And then they're like, "Yeah, you're traveling." And it's like the coach at the time was Stefan Antiga, and he just said to me, he's like, "Yeah, like if you play good, you'll play. If you don't play good, then you won't." I was like, "Okay," and it was just crazy for me just playing with all those guys, and for me to be cheering those guys on in 2016 to now, like a lot of their teammates, it was different for me. But it was
Right.
nice to it was exciting to travel the world and playing competitions. And I played a lot, like that World League, and I never started, but I played like a lot. And I remember
Mhm.
the final, like the third week when we needed to qualify to get to final six. I remember like 5 points in, he put me into the Italian game, and we won in
Mhm.
four. But yeah, when we got to the finals, I mean, like when we got accepted in the finals, he told me like you're coming to final six. I was like, okay. What about junior like championships? And he's like, oh, this is more important. I said, well, okay. But I remember he told me the first game we were in Brazil. The first game we played against Brazil, and he's like, you're starting. And I was, what? Like I've never started before, and I was very nervous. And coming out of the, tunnel was this big soccer stadium. It was huge, this massive soccer stadium, and all you seen was blue. I mean, green and yellow around the stadium for Brazil. And we're playing Brazil the first game, and I was shaking. But
Yeah.
once the whistle blew, it was kind of like, oh, this is still volleyball. But it was definitely an intimidating like start for sure. Where I was just looking up and couldn't
And then
believe.
would you say that there was like one player in specific that kind of helped you kind of get through that like first little bit?
Yeah, Graham Vigrass for sure.
Right.
100% helped me a lot. Graham was very reassuring. Graham's a veteran and he's a great leader. And he just kind of took me under his wing, and he was a very reassuring presence to my game, and helped me learn a lot of things on the national team, how they work, how they train, how to be a professional. He's taught me a lot. So shout out to
Right. And
Graham Vigrass.
it definitely helped that he was on the court then with you as well, right? During that time.
Yes. Yes, amazing player. Amazing player.
Yeah, that would help for sure. Um, what would be some advice that you would give kind of younger athletes for those who want to go play pro in the future?
I'd honestly say just it's a very different experience than here. Like the relationships with coaches aren't necessarily as like Pac-Man. Like growing up, you have maybe the same coach for your whole years throughout club, but here it's like professionally it's business as well. So the relationships aren't the same, and they demand a lot from you because you're now being paid to play. So It's a
Right.
job at the end of the day, so you have to approach it with professionalism. So, you got to be ready to play always. You got to take care of your body, be disciplined, um, improve, and make sure that you're coachable because a lot of times like guys can get written off due to um, negative attitude towards coaches or immaturity. So you got to be prepared to go there
Right.
and work hard every day. So make sure you refine your skills when you're younger and you are mature enough to actually handle that. It's also a very like serious load, so you also have to be strong. You have to make sure that you're in the gym working hard and build a body that can sustain that whole pro season because it is very taxing.
Right. And then, what would like a typical day look like for you for training, like while you're overseas?
Usually it depends on the day because in the season you don't really lift necessarily as much as you would in like the summer for national team, but we'd lift 3 times a week, so a day would could be if we have weights, morning practice on court, and then we'd have weights for an hour and a half. Go home, lunch, eat lunch, nap, then practice for 3 hours in the afternoon, or sometimes even video. Like more often when you're like playing a lot, you have video almost every day. So
Right.
we'll have video, and then onto um, we'd go on court, and then recovery or slash therapy with the physiotherapist, and then go home, eat, watch film, and then try to relax and start up for the next day.
Right. Okay. And then for your games and stuff, were they was it like specifically on a set date or was it kind of like vary throughout the week?
Well, most of them usually, like most games in Italy, their sports day was Sunday. So Formula One and soccer slash football would and volleyball would always be Sunday, and basketball
Right.
as well. But there's like when they're trying to qualify for this in Italy, there's this the Italian Cup. You play like 2 games a week for like 4 weeks.
Right.
So
Okay.
most of them can vary either Wednesday, Thursday, or Tuesday, but you usually are always playing on Sunday.
Right. And then I guess so obviously that's a pretty taxing and demanding schedule. At any point did you ever feel like it was starting to become too much for you or no?
Oh no, no. I love playing and it's exciting. Every now and again you might miss home or you might be really tired, like, oh man, do I want to get up today? But ultimately, it's exciting to play the sport you love playing and to get that experience of professional like the professional life is it's indescribable. It's hard to describe the words, but it's nice to be able to go to not any country, but play in different countries around the world and see their culture, how they live, and for them to embrace you and you just go there and play and represent your family or friends. It's nice. So for me, I never got to that point, but it's definitely some points you're like, "Oh, I do miss home, or I miss certain things about home, like the food from home
Right.
or something." But it's not like, oh man, I don't want to be here ever. No.
Right. Okay. And then I guess because you were talking about how you got to visit a bunch of different cities and stuff, would you say that there's one that's like a personal favorite to you or one that sticks out?
Tokyo, for sure. Tokyo is amazing. Tokyo is so beautiful. It's so fun. So the people are so polite there. The food's really good. If
Hmm.
you like ramen, you need to get to Tokyo because that's amazing. But just the people are there really nice, and it's you're able to be foreign and walk around, and there's no problems. People just are very polite and happy to see you and take pictures of you. But it was funny because they're kind of scared of you, scared of like us because they don't see necessarily guys that big. So I remember when
Right.
we went to the hotel, like, and we kind of the elevator was open and a small baseball team in the elevator, and they got so scared and like jumped back almost because they just never
Oh,
seen people like as tall as us. But Tokyo is number one for sure.
for sure. So I want to talk about your club next year, but quickly, there's a few more questions just regarding club stuff.
Yeah.
So I think one question I think that would be interesting is how did it feel to win your first provincial championship?
That was huge. That was definitely big. I remember it like yesterday actually. And we our semifinals was pretty hard, and we were down 23-15 in one set. And we came back and won 25-23 and won the
Right.
game. That was an amazing feeling, but also just to win that first championship is nice, you know. And I was 14 years old with a little mohawk, looking up to Parvier. Parvier was the greatest player ever in
Hmm.
14U. I thought this guy was the best player in the world. He was amazing, and he played amazing that game. And yeah, just winning that first one was very exciting. I remember just running around, jumping around the court, and hugging, all my teammates. It was a nice feeling.
For sure. And then after that, I'm sure they started to pile up.
I mean, you could say that, but it definitely felt nice to, you once you won one, you wanted to win more. You
For
had
sure.
that aggression and that poise to, I need to go after it, get another one. So
For sure. And then how about your first national championship? How was that?
that felt great as well too. That my first one was in Toronto when Toronto did the 2012 one. That was
Right.
our first one, and that was huge as well. That was a special experience because it was also the national team was playing.
Uh,
Um, like the national team was playing against Poland, Brazil, and I can't remember that. I think Serbia, but in the Rico Coliseum. So that was amazing because we could literally just walk across and like get to the Canadian games. And I met Gavin Schmidt for the first time, Fred Winters, it was Gordon Perrin. It was pretty
right.
cool. It was definitely
And then
cool.
for while you played nationals, right? You had for all your nationals, it was all of Canada. Like you didn't have any East or West.
Yeah, no, ours was all of Canada, and we also had like 14U to 18U. I think that was like the
Right.
first nationals that did, and we had 14U to 18U, and so like you're also able to watch Crush, and they're
For sure.
glorious days. So it was definitely a luxurious experience to watch all those players play and see people from across the country playing at a high level.
Yeah, for sure. What would be some tips that you would give a maybe a younger athlete for tryouts going into next year?
I would just say try to, even with the virus, like I would just try as much as you can to get reps and watch your favorite players play and just try to, you know, um, refine your skills as much as you can until you get there. But also just believe and learn from whatever mistakes that, not mistakes, but ever feedback you get. Maybe you might not make that first team, but you could make the second one. So just persevere and try to push as much as you can to get better every day.
Right. And then I guess yesterday, right, news came out that you got traded, right, to a new club. Um, so I mean, like, what are you looking forward to next year? Like, I'm sure there's a
Well,
lot to look to, but what would be something in specific?
it's not necessarily traded. Like in volleyball is very different than most sports. Not most sports, but it's kind of like football where you have like transfers per se. So guys like it's kind of like free agency, and
Right.
clubs can sign you or other like sometimes clubs can loan you. So they might give you to another team for a year or two and then take you back after. Um,
Right.
but yeah, I just got signed to like another team, which was exciting because that team has my favorite player in the world. Like I grew up watching him play, and I'm gonna be his teammate next year. So it's gonna
Hmm.
be hard to kind of get out of the fanboy excitement for a bit, but excuse me.
For sure.
At the end of the day, it's still like professional, and you gotta be there to work, and you gotta play hard against them and stuff. But it's exciting because they're one of the top teams in the league, and they also are one of the top teams in the world in general. And they,
Yeah.
they play Champions League, so there'll be a lot of games and a lot of games against the top teams around the world. So I'm excited for that. New beginning, new experience, and it's just gonna help me prepare myself for Tokyo 21.
For sure. And just for the people in the live, who is it that you're looking forward to play with? Like who is
Wilfredo Leon.
right.
Wilfredo Leon.
Right, yeah, that's definitely going to be exciting. I'm pretty sure a
Yeah,
lot of us know who he is, right?
yeah, I hope so. If
Cool.
you guys don't know, go watch. He is amazing, amazing player.
For sure. All right. I'm just trying to get this question box open. Okay, we got a couple other questions, or like
Okay.
a few more questions. How did it feel when you first kind of got into the national team? Like when you first kind of had that offer? I know we talked about it briefly, but how did it
Um.
feel? Like that first like kind of email?
Oh, it was definitely. I was going through the roof. I remember calling my mom, and just telling her that they asked me to come train with them and play and practice with them. And it was even when you got there, you're just I remember walking to that practice with the extra pep in my step, just excited to get there and train and even touch the balls. Um, but it was a little scary just with knowing that I was a little boy.
For sure.
I was 18 with grown men, and it's a little intimidating in that sense sometimes because obviously these guys are professionals, and a lot of them went to the Olympics already, and were playing. So it was a different experience, but it was also easier because with me also a bunch of other newer younger guys came in, so it wasn't like I was just with like all old guys, and then me. It was just we kind of rejuvenated the team with younger guys at the same
Right.
time. So it was very seamless. But the older guys did a great job to not create like a hierarchy necessarily on the team, where they were nice to the young guys and also mentored all the young guys and made them feel a part of the team and not the normal rookie senior or rookie vet hierarchy.
Right. Okay. Another one we have here is what would you say would be the best skill for someone to practice while they're home in quarantine?
Best skill to practice is knowledge. Like, if I would advise anyone, it's hard to really um, work on your skills necessarily at home. You can do a lot in terms of volleying or bumping and hitting against the wall, but I would say your best thing would be to watch other players play and see how the best players in the world, play or work out, and kind of try to fit, or fit into study what those players do to what you do and try to, if you want that stuff and you want to involve that or incorporate that in your game, then do that. If you don't, then, you can keep what you do, but just try to increase your knowledge and try to learn as much as you can about the game because that'll help you a lot going
Right.
forward.
All right. Awesome. Thank you so much. That was awesome. I think the last thing is, do you have any advice that you would give to younger athletes like that want to kind of strive to be successful in volleyball?
Um, I would say just always, work hard, put 100% into every action, compete always against yourself, most importantly yourself, your teammates, your literal competition, and just try to, like I said, soak up knowledge from guys, from anyone actually. Soak up any, knowledge that they give you, especially older guys, and um, just try to learn. Learning is the key. You always want to learn in life. Every day you want to learn something new. And yeah, work hard every day, like I said, and persevere, through whatever adversity you may face. Um, Unknown, I don't know everyone's situation, but whatever adversity you may face, just keep going and focus on your skills and make sure you don't take reps off because it's hard to catch up when you're older. It's easier to learn skills when you're young, but when you're old, it gets a lot harder. It's not as easy to develop. So I just advise you guys to play the game with passion and work hard and learn every day.
Awesome. Thank you so much. We'll be back next week, guys, with another podcast.
Thank you for having me, Ishaan. Good
Yeah.
job, buddy.
Thanks for coming on.
Thank for all the viewers. Thank you guys. It's been
All right,
amazing.
see you guys.
See you.